Asterisk, the morning sun had barely pushed through the gray Montana clouds when Mark Henson stepped out of his tiny garage. His clothes smelled of oil, his knuckles always scraped, and his tools older than he liked to admit. Work had been slow, bills had been late, but he kept moving, kept fixing, kept believing things would someday get better. Asterisk, across the road lived his newest neighbor, a quiet woman who rarely spoke to anyone. She had arrived only a few weeks earlier, driving a battered old Chevelle that coughed more than it ran. People whispered about her, but Mark didn't listen. A car was a car, and a neighbor was a neighbor. Asterisk, that afternoon. As he worked on an old pickup, he heard the Chevelle sputtering, gasping, then dying completely. The woman stepped out, frustration tightening her face. She wore simple jeans, a faded jacket, and a wool hat pulled low. Nothing about her seemed unusual. Asterisk, need a hand? Mark called gently. Asterisk, she paused, hesitant, then nodded. If you have a moment. It just quit on me. Asterisk, Mark walked over, popped the hood, and let out a quiet breath. This thing hasn't had real maintenance in a long time, he said. I can tow it to my garage, take a look if you want. Asterisk, she scanned his modest workshop, then smiled faintly. I'd appreciate that. Asterisk, Mark towed the Chevelle in and got straight to work. The carburetor was nearly clogged, the belts were cracked, and the engine barely held itself together. As he cleaned and repaired, the woman walked around the garage, studying tools and photos pinned to the walls. Asterisk, you work alone? She asked. Asterisk, most of the time, Mark replied. Small town, small shop, but I love what I do. Asterisk, there was something gentle in the way she listened. As if she valued his words more than others usually did. Asterisk, I'm Sarah. She finally said. Asterisk, Mark, he replied, wiping grease off his hands. Your Chevelle's got a lot of heart. Just need someone who cares. She looked at him in a strange way, almost as if no one had cared in a long time. Day slipped into evening as he worked. He refused to rush. The Chevelle reminded him of a forgotten animal needing patience. He cleaned every piece, replaced what he could afford, adjusted what he couldn't. When he was done, he stepped back. Try it now, he said. Sarah slid into the driver's seat, turned the key, and the engine came alive with a smooth, warm rumble. Her eyes widened, glowing with childlike joy. Asterisk, I can't believe it, she whispered. It sounds like a whole new car. And just needed some love, Mark replied. She reached into her pocket. How much do I owe you? Asterisk, Mark shook his head. I didn't replace anything major. And you're new here. Call it a welcome. Asterisk, her face softened in a way he didn't expect. You barely know me. Asterisk, doesn't matter, he said. Good neighbors help each other. Asterisk, Sarah drove away slowly, still looking stunned. Mark returned to his quiet garage, unaware that this small kindness had set something in motion. Asterisk, a few days later, Sarah returned, not with a broken car this time, but with homemade muffins. She handed them over shyly. Asterisk, you didn't have to. Mark said. Asterisk, you fixed something more than my car, she answered softly. You fixed a piece of my faith. Asterisk, they shared coffee on overturned crates, talking about everything from engines to childhood memories. Sarah avoided questions about her past, but Mark didn't press. He liked her calmness, her sincerity, her gentle humor. Asterisk, weeks passed. She brought her Chevelle for regular checkups, each time staying longer, asking more about engines, about life, about him. Mark found himself looking forward to her visits. Asterisk, but one evening, Sarah arrived with a tense expression. Asterisk, Mark, would you mind coming with me tomorrow? She asked. Asterisk, to where? Asterisk, to the city, she said. There's something I need to show you. Asterisk, he hesitated, confused but trusting. All right. Asterisk, the next morning they drove into the city. Mark felt out of place among towering buildings and polished glass. Sarah led him toward a modern office tower, breezing past security who nodded as if they knew her. Asterisk, Mark frowned. Sarah, what is this? Asterisk, she didn't answer until they stepped into a massive executive office with panoramic windows. On the polished desk sat photographs her, dressed in elegant clothes, Attending events with important-looking people. Asterisk, I should have told you earlier, she said quietly. My full name is Sarah Langford. Asterisk, Mark blinked. He recognized the name. The Langford family owned major companies across several states. Asterisk, you're one of them? Asterisk, she nodded. I left the city to get away. I grew tired of people treating me like a title, not a person. I wanted to live simply for a while. That old Chevelle was my father's. It was the one thing that felt real. Asterisk, Mark exhaled slowly. So you're a millionaire? Asterisk, I guess so, she answered, almost embarrassed. But when you helped me, you didn't know who I was. You didn't try to impress me or ask for anything. You treated me like a person, not a bank account. She stepped closer, sincerity glowing in her eyes. That's why I wanted to bring you here. I want to help you the way you helped me. Asterisk, Mark shook his head gently. I don't want your money, Sarah. Asterisk, she smiled, a soft, relieved smile. I know, that's why I trust you. Asterisk, she walked to a window overlooking the city. But your kindness deserves something. Let me invest in your garage. Not to change it, just to give you the tools and freedom you deserve. Asterisk, Mark hesitated, thoughtful, overwhelmed. She wasn't offering charity. She was offering partnership. Belief. Asterisk, he finally nodded. Only if you stay involved. I don't want to lose the neighbor who brings muffins. Asterisk, her face brightened with a laugh. Deal. Asterisk, by summer, Mark's garage had transformed not into a sleek corporation, but into a well-equipped workshop with room to grow. Sarah became part of the place, sitting on a stool while Mark K. worked, bringing ideas from her business experience and stories from her quiet past. Asterisk. And every time he looked at the old Chevelle parked proudly outside, he remembered the day a simple act of kindness revealed the extraordinary truth behind the woman who owned it. Asterisk, he never expected she was a hidden millionaire. Asterisk, she never expected someone would treat her like she wasn't. Asterisk, and together, they built something far more meaningful than wealth. They built trust. They built home. Asterisk.